Okay, so this is part two now. What we're going to do is we're going to go and customize the style of these caption subtitle boxes, and I'm also going to show you how you export that. And if you wanted to use it as a link that you can copy and paste into Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, that you can also do that. So you've got a few options. So first things first, I'm going to go into the styles. It doesn't matter what block you're on, because this will standardize it across all of your captions so that there's a consistent style. So you go into styles itself. You've got a range of fonts that you can pick. So you can go for really horrible ones to quite hard to read ones, to real cartoony ones, but the one I particularly prefer is Work Sans. What you will then have to do is come back once you've selected your font and check that none of your lines of subtitles are now going over 2 lines, because otherwise you'll end up forgetting and recording it and coming back in and edit it anyway. So very close really on that one. It's quite wide is this area, such as LinkedIn and Facebook. So what you can do is go back into styles and just drop the size of the font slightly, and you can see that that is much cleaner. Because you know as well that this is your longest line of text in your subtitles, such as LinkedIn and Facebook, you can also start to adjust the width accordingly, and you know that all of your other ones are going to fit in there, so you can then just preview. Make sure that you've got consistency along all of your subtitles. Again, just checking them just for your own sanity. Now, one thing you'll notice on here is that I've done something on purpose just to demonstrate how you can make simple mistakes or just an oversight that then it might create a little bit extra work. So when I initially created this video, I used OBS, as we've used in some of the previous video tutorials. But what I didn't do was I didn't centralize this video preview window against the background. You can see that there's a much bigger space to the left of that subtitled video than there is to the right. However, when you come into VDO, the subtitles will always centralize to the absolute width of that framed window preview. So if I was to do that, and then I was to come down to have a look at the longest line, you can see that I've got an overlap, which is greater on the left hand side of my video preview to the right. So that's just a pointer. Make sure that if you want them absolutely central, make sure that the video you're bringing in is absolutely central, or is just a square frame with just the video inside it, edge to edge, rather than being inside a frame. For this particular one, I'm just going to buy having a look at that. That's roughly, I think, equal distance on either side. I'm not going to lose much sleep about that. And the other main thing is there is a little gap between the bottom of the video and the subtitles themselves. This is a personal choice. Depends on how you're going to present it. If it's going onto YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, then it might be beneficial if you can have that subtitle actually overlaying over the video, so you can actually move the subtitles to appear over that. If you're worried about losing too much of the quality of the image behind, you've also got the option in styles of changing the opacity. So in here you can click into the block, and as you can see, you can reduce the opacity, so you've got not such a solid black line but more of a softer line. The only thing I will point out is the fainter the background block, the more obvious it is when you have text that's spilling over the sides of your video. Again, these are just little things that you have to consider depending on what you want to do. Let's just say for this instance, we're not bothered that it's actually sitting outside of the video preview, but we don't like black background, so we're going to just come into this effect. I'm going to choose a different colour. You've got a number of colours in palettes, so these are all the different shades that you can pick. Or you can just go to the standard colour picker, and I'm just going to pick, let me have a look, let's pick this nice soft purple colour here. Just click off the white space to get rid of that, and I'm going to just drop the opacity down a little bit to about 80, well maybe even a bit more, 50% opacity, there or thereabouts. and I'm happy with that. So play about with this until you're 100% happy with how you've got it. And then the next step, once you're finished with it, is again, as we've said, make sure you play it all back from start to finish. You can just skim it if you don't want to play it in full. You can just see how it all changes and make sure that the text doesn't look weird. You can quickly review there for any spelling mistakes or grammar. And once you're happy, if you want to cut the end off as well, you can do this. You can do some minor video editing in this as well. You've got a handle control to actually crop and trim. You can split the video as well if you want to split it up into two separate ones when you save it. There's lots of things that you can do. You can add additional videos into the timeline, so you can build on this. There's lots of other bits and bobs that you can do at the side. You can add text. If you want, you can put preview text on and things like that. So there's lots of different options. All we're really bothered about is the subtitles. I'm trying to get rid of that now. I'll get rid of it again. Don't quite know how I'm going to do this now. Okay, managed to stop it misbehaving. So basically when you add things, all it does is it stacks them above the timeline. So I just had to remember to go in and select the text and change it. But once we're finished, what we'll then do is you go up to the top right and click on export. Gives you the preview window yet again. It tells you what the preset is going to be, and it says here that you're going to burn the subtitles. Basically what that means is the finished video file that you have will have the subtitles in them as well. They're not removable. If you want to have separate subtitles that can be run alongside the video, you need to deselect burn subtitles, and it will then create a separate file. And the file formats, there's 3 of them, but the common one is a .srt file, which you can then upload onto YouTube, and the viewer has the option of turning them on or off. If you're going to use this for Facebook or LinkedIn, I'd highly recommend that you just keep the subtitles burnt onto your video, because the purpose of that is to have them playing in the preview when people are skimming down their news feed. Drop down the quality and choose YouTube 720p standard. Seems to be a fairly consistent playback standard across all devices. And we're not going to be able to remove the watermark unless we pay for this, but there is a trick which we can do to get rid of that afterwards by putting this video as it's finished back into OBS and reframing it. So with all that done, the last thing to do is to click export video. And as I said, you've got a number of options. It takes a while just to preview that, but while that's working, you can copy the link. So this will be saved within ved.io. I'm not quite sure whether it'll stay there forever. You can download it as a GIF if you've created it in that manner that you want a GIF, so people click on it and that's a hyperlink to another website or something. If you need to make any additional changes that you've missed, because you can still preview that before you commit to downloading the MP4, click on edit and it'll take you back to the editing screen, or you can just click on download MP4. Okay, and I've just clicked download on the MP4, and as you can see in here, I now have 2 files. I've got one without subtitles, and I've got the one that I've just renamed in that project called demo video with subtitles applied. And that is it. Any questions or queries, please get back to me. Happy to run through anything that you missed or you want to go over again. Nice and simple, easy way to do it. The final thing was, how can you then take the watermark off, and I'll show you what the watermark looks like. Okay, so here you see the video. I've just loaded it into OBS, and now you can see that I've got the video which has the subtitles along the bottom. I'm just going to play that back so you can see the effect of it. So as you can see now, we've got that where the left hand edge of that subtitle block is to the right of where the watermark that they've put on is as well. So what you can do is, as I said before, you can left click and hold of the left hand edge of that, and you can actually make that disappear. You do the same on the right hand edge. You can then get rid of anything else that you don't want, so you can really shrink this down to the size that you want it to be. And within OBS you can then save that again, so you can then use that, just play it back. You can then save it again within OBS, and then that would take the watermark off. That's the easiest way I can think of doing it for you. You can chuck it into some video editing software. That's a completely different thing, and it's entirely up to you how comfortable you are with them. But that's it. Let me know what you think about it.